Do you have a dirty or stained lampshade like mine, but it's just the perfect size and shape for your lamp base and you can't find a replacement for it? Well, today I'm going to show you how to remedy that situation with just a little bit of fabric and a lot of cottage charm. Step one is to pick out an appropriate fabric, and I came across this tablecloth at a thrift store recently. I just loved this gorgeous vintage pattern and the color combination. I'm a sucker for blue and I love navy, but this tablecloth is rectangular and I don't have any tables in my house that it will fit. I bought it anyways because I knew that there was something that I could do with it. And I was going through my stash this morning to see what I had for that would be appropriate on that lampshade, and I decided to go ahead and use this because my rug in here, let me show you, because I have a vintage Kerman Persian rug in here. That's why I decided to go ahead and utilize this. So let's get started. The first step is to measure your lampshade to determine how long you need your strips of fabric to be. And then you want to cut your strip 2 inches longer than your shade so that you have 1 inch at the top to roll over and 1 inch at the bottom to roll over. And I decided to go ahead and keep most of my shade just this solid off-white color and do the pattern on the bottom third of the shade. So that's something that you want to determine when you're looking at your fabric is if you have an all-over pattern, then you're just gonna have pattern top to bottom, which is lovely. But if you have a large pattern or a stripe or something like that, you want to get your pattern placement the way that you want it. So now I'm going to cut my strips of fabric, and I'm using my rotary cutting mat and my rotary cutter. It's so fast and efficient. I don't know what I would do without that. If you don't have a rotary cutting mat and a rotary cutter, it's definitely something worth the investment. It's not that expensive. I do have a link for the rotary cutter in the description box below this video. So I'm gonna cut all of my strips 2 inches. So easy. So now I'm going to cut them to the proper length, and I've already got one determined how I want it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut them exactly the same. I already have a bunch of these cut. Otherwise, what I would do is just lay them all out and cut them with my rotary cutter all at once. Now I'm gonna take these cut strips to my ironing board and we're gonna press them. I'm going to fold it over halfway so that the raw edge meets halfway into that 2-inch strip. And this doesn't need to be really super precise, just eyeball it. That's the way it should look. That's the back, and then that's the front. But the important thing to remember when you're doing this is that you have to fold over the same direction every time. I'm making sure that I fold right to left every single time. This one has to be like this. It can't be like this because then when we glue it on, it's going to be going the wrong direction, and you'll see when we get to the gluing on to the lampshade what I mean. And you could technically make these any width that you want. It doesn't have to be 2 inches and then fold it over a 1/2 inch. You could do these strips wider if you have a large pattern and you want to show off the pattern on your lampshade. You could definitely make these 3 inches, even 4 inches. You could even go smaller if you have a shade or if you have a pattern on your fabric that's really tiny. You could make these strips of fabric even smaller if your heart desires. And as far as how much fabric you'll need for this, it depends upon the size of your shade. And then, of course, the width of your fabric. If you have a fabric that's 45 inches wide, you could definitely do a shade with a yard or even less, depending upon the size of your shade. But it doesn't take much. A yard, a half a yard will definitely do the job. I think this is gonna be enough. I might need to cut a few more, we'll see. And I like to start right on my seam of my shade. If you work right on with the shade on your lamp, it does make it a little bit easier. I'm gonna go ahead and put just a bit of glue right on the top. And I want to make sure that I have that stripe a third of the way down. This is the side that's folded. This is the raw edge. I'm going to continue to move around the lampshade in this direction, covering up the raw edge as I go. And I'm just going to glue the top edge so that way if I need to adjust my strips a little bit left to right, I can do that, and then I'll glue those all down. But just the top edge. So I'm going to put a little dab of glue on top of the fabric and then off of it. And of course we're going to overlap, and I have to make sure that I get my stripes lined up perfectly. We're going to continue that way all the way around. So I'm starting my glue basically at the spot where the fold is right there. So I'm going to get my stripe lined up. So this is the reason why you have to fold them all in the same direction at the ironing table, so that you have all your folded pieces on one side, so that every time you're covering with a new piece, you're covering that raw edge. Now on to gluing the bottom. So the reason you leave the bottom open is so that you can adjust it so that the whole bottom of the shade is actually getting covered. And I'm just making sure to line up my navy blue stripe here. I would say if you want to make this a very easy and simple project, don't use something with a stripe like this going around like that. It makes it really difficult. Use an all-over pattern. It'll make life much easier, because I already know that it's not going to line up when I come around the other side. It just keeps going higher. But you know what? I'll just use that as the back of the shade against the wall, like I do with the seam. Pulling it so it's nice and taut. Hold it there for a minute so that you let the glue set. And I have to really let the glue set because it wants to slide back up if the glue's hot, and then my lines get off. So I have to hold it for a little bit of extra time. Whereas if you had an all-over pattern, you wouldn't have to do that quite so much. I do have enough coverage. Okay, see, it's just going up and up and up, aggravating. So here I am around to the other side. I've only got 2 more strips left to glue, and look at how off my lines are. I'm totally off. You live and you learn. And you know what? I'll always know what the back side of this shade is, so I'll know that I have to put this side towards the wall. It's not floating in the room, it does sit against the wall, so it's gonna have to do. That's a lesson learned, and that is a lesson for you to not use a horizontal stripe. This is the last one, and I'm gonna tuck it under this first one. See how off I am? Ay, ay, ay. Ugh, I don't know. Maybe I'll take this back apart. Maybe I'll pull these last, I'll measure, and that's probably what I should have done with this, is I probably should have measured 2 inches up and then drew a line all the way around so I could make sure. There you go. If you're gonna do this, draw yourself a line. Anyway, that'll be the back of the shade. This will be the front of the shade. So next I'm gonna trim off all this excess, and we're gonna put the trim around the bottom and the top of the shade. And I'm trimming it just right at the bottom. That's how I'm doing it, is trimming it right at the bottom. I'm not gonna go over the edge, because I'm going to put a piece of trim on this outside, and then continue to trim right at the edge. Top's gonna be a little bit more difficult. So the top, I am folding it over the top edge because you will see the top of the shade because it's a small little lamp. So I am folding that in and I'm trimming it off just inside the top edge. And I'll show you that here in just a second. Okay, so the top I did fold down because this lamp sits low and you can look down into the lamp. I wanted that top edge to have a finished look to it, even though I am gonna put a piece of trim on there as well. I'm not feeling great about this project. It's not coming out like I'd hoped, but anyway, I think it'll be fine once I get it done, and let's press on. The next step is to create the piece of trim that's going to go around this top. So the way that I'm going to do that is grab my bias tape maker and go back to the ironing board, and we're going to press this. Okay, so this is a bias tape maker. You can buy them in a kit. They come in a few different sizes. I'm just using the off-white fabric that I have on that tablecloth. And it would be easier if I were to cut this in a point, but I didn't. So you can just use a pin to push it through there, grab it out this end, and it will automatically fold this into bias tape for you. You just pull it along and it gives you that double fold, and then you just press it. Okay, see that? And then what we'll do is fold that in half and press it. Okay, so now this piece of trim, you could do it two ways. You could open it up and then glue it on the top of that, so it's glued on the outside and the inside. I don't particularly like that because I don't think it sits down nice and flat and it gets a little bit bulky. So what I like to do is run a bead of hot glue in the center there and glue it down together. And then I like to just glue it along the top edge. And I like to just let it overhang the top of the shade just a hair so that it covers up this top edge. And the bottom, basically the same way on the bottom. The open side I put towards the bottom. Of course, I'll put glue in there so it'll be glued. And then I'll just glue right along that bottom edge, just letting it hang over ever so slightly to cover those raw edges of the fabric. To be honest, I wonder if it would be prettier if I had a piece that had the floral in it. I think it would be, actually. I might change that. What do you think? Floral trim or white trim? Contrast? Nah, I think it's better with the floral. Okay, so I'll put the white on the top and then I'm going to put floral on the bottom. Fold that under. Glue that down. I'm not really liking that either. Why is that not flat? Okay, and we're back around to here. I'm going to cut this a little bit long so I could fold it under. I should have cut this in a circle. And the reason why it's doing this is because this is such a small shade. It's such a small circle. If this was a big shade, there wouldn't be so much of this rippling. So this, when you have a small shade like this, it needs to be, the trim piece needs to be cut in a circle. And you know, I probably should have just left this without a piece of trim at the top because the top edge was actually decent looking. Not sure I'll even post this video because this is coming out so crappy. I have made so many mistakes with this thing. And then I just butted those two ends together. All right, there she is. It's far from perfect, but perfect from far. No, it's not even perfect from far. It's totally imperfect, but it's cute, it's cottagey. It does make the light dimmer because of the extra fabric on there, which I don't mind that because this is not any sort of a task light. It's just an accent light next to my dining room table. And I have it on a timer so it comes on in the evening and it shuts off at night. And I love it. I still really, really like it even though it's far from perfect. I want to show you from over here. because you can see how that blue line is starting to get slant upwards as you come around the back. So yeah, it's interesting. It's still very cute. And if you feel like you need a little more instruction for your lampshade, I do have 2 other videos you can click on right here.